Conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, LA Lakers fans around the world. What is up? It's me, PFE Paula Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we are here to talk about, in the long video format, the Lakers' 129-122 overtime shocking win against the Toronto Raptors at Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. With the win, the Lakers improved to 4-13 on the year. Raptors fall to 13-4 on the season. Quick stats. Kyle Lowry led the Raptors with 29.6 rebounds, 9 assists. Terrence Ross, 20 points, 5 rebounds. Lou Williams, 19 points off the bench. And Patrick Patterson, 10 points and 13 rebounds off the bench himself. Lakers were led by Kobe Bryant's 31 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists. Kobe with the triple-double, his first of the season. Also, he passed 6,000 career assists in this game. So he is now currently the only player in NBA history to have 30,000 career points and 6,000 career assists. We congratulate Kobe on that record, and he played a terrific game tonight. Carlos Boozer, 18 points, 9 rebounds. Jordan Hill, 16 points, 12 rebounds. Wes Johnson, 13 points. Nick Young, 20 points off the bench. Wayne Ellington, 10 points off the bench. Finally, JLin, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. Plus minus was a 0. Played 35 minutes, shot 3 of 11 from the field. 1 of 5 from three-point range, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. I love this win. And I got to tell you, the Toronto Raptors have a great fan base, and their fan base is very heavy on the internet. And so there's already Toronto fans coming and telling me stuff on YouTube and Twitter that it wasn't a real win, and Toronto was missing DeMar DeRozan, who they were missing, and he is very important to their team. But look, you guys got to take it what it is. I know that you, the North, as the saying for the Toronto fan nation is we the North. But tonight the Lakers were the South, and they got the W. And that's just what it is. And, I mean, look, you got to give credit where it's due. The overview of this game was the Lakers came out very focused. Everything that Byron Scott had told them and getting into them about how poorly they played against Minnesota, they obviously listened to that. They played well right from the beginning, and they were ahead in this game for much of it. And then Toronto came back in the second half, and they were able to just get a little bit of a lead, but then the Lakers hung tough. And you got to give credit to the Lakers bench, because that unit early in the fourth quarter, things could have slipped away from the team, but the bench really stepped up at that moment and were able to keep things under control until the starters could come back in. Starters came back in, looked like things were going the Lakers' way. They hung on, sent it to overtime, and then in overtime, Lakers just took over. Now, everything was basically good tonight. The Lakers shot the ball extremely well. They were smart. They had few turnovers. And this is the way they need to play. And I said on Twitter that the way the team played tonight, I said before the season I thought the team had a real chance to make the playoffs. This is the way that they're capable of playing. If they had Steve Nash and Julius Randle and healthy Xavier Henry, then you could imagine how much stronger the team would be. So, with the way things are now, yeah, they probably don't really have any realistic shot at the playoffs, but they could have. I think they could have if everything had fallen into place. And it's just, that's the way it goes. Sometimes you get hurt. That's it. That's the way it happens. In terms of Jeremy from an overview tonight, and I know a lot of people, a lot of Lin fans, they're not happy. They're wondering why I'm excited because I mentioned a number of things on Twitter. Look, Jeremy had a tough game. And this was the first time in 5 games that he's had a tough game. And of the last 13 games, he's only had a tough time in 3 of them. So 10 of the last 13 games he's played well. There's a couple of things that I like, though, for Jeremy tonight. Number 1, he was clutch down the stretch. In the overtime period, he accounted for 9 of the Lakers' 20 points, or almost half of their points. He himself scored 6 points, and he had an assist to Wes Johnson for a 3-pointer. So that's big. Jeremy has the reputation, of course, as being clutch. We call him Mr. Clutch because, again, that's his rep. That's what he's known for. And he showed that tonight. So I like the fact that even though he struggled, he still came up big when he had to, including hitting 4 free throws in the overtime. He made all of them. That's big. That's huge, especially because he's had some missed free throws recently, and Kobe missed some free throws down the stretch of this game too. So for him to just have a tough game, shake it off mentally, and come through big when he had to, that's huge. Secondly, Byron Scott stayed with Jeremy tonight. So even though Jeremy was struggling, wasn't hitting shots, he wasn't having a big opportunity to play a lot of point guard because Kobe was, and I know all that. In the last 10 minutes and 28 seconds of the game, JLin played 10 minutes and 6 seconds. So he was only out of the game for 22 seconds. And I think that was one possession late in the fourth quarter when Byron Scott did an offense for defense switch, and he took out Carlos Boozer and Jeremy, and he put in Ronnie Price and Wesley Johnson. So we talked about on Twitter and in the last videos, we talked about, is Byron going to learn from the mistakes that he made in the Minnesota game? And one of those mistakes was taking Jeremy out of the game. Because once he took Jeremy out of the game, the Lakers were outscored 8-4, and they lost the game. I'm happy because Byron didn't make that mistake again. He kept Jeremy in. That's really important, particularly when there's this stuff going around today, the lineup changes possible and Jeremy's name's being thrown about. And I think that's a realistic thing, given how Byron Scott took Jeremy out of the game in Denver late in the game, and he took him out late in the Minnesota game. So Byron he stayed with Jeremy tonight, and Jeremy came through. So even if he didn't shoot the ball well, even if Kobe was playing more of the point guard role and Jeremy wasn't allowed to hold the ball and run it, I don't care. Because things ended well. The team got a huge victory. This is easily the best victory of the season. And Jeremy came through late. And it's not just I'm happy about that as a fan. The coaches saw it too. So there was doubt going on. Maybe Jeremy's going to not be able to play late. Maybe Byron's going to make a lineup change. And tonight, everything fell into place. Byron stayed with Jeremy, and the team won, and Jeremy performed well in the clutch. That's why I'm happy. And I said to Ian and I hope I'm saying your name right, Yain, on Twitter, all's well that ends well. I mentioned before, if the team wins, it doesn't matter what your stats are because you won. So whatever you did was enough for the team to win. But if you don't win, then everything's under scrutiny. Because the team won tonight, and they beat a very good team in the Raptors, the story is gritty, gutty Lakers come through and shock the Raptors. And JLin, the story for Jeremy is he overcomes a tough start and he comes through when he has to come through. And Byron Scott had faith in Jeremy, and Jeremy rewarded the faith. That's where I'm coming from. That's what the story is. That's why I'm not getting caught up in everything. Do I know that Kobe played more of the point guard role? Yes, I know that. But, as I said, all's well that ends well. The team won. Jeremy was a big part of the win. And that's it. That's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, we can adjust things in the next game. I can tell you this right now. Kobe is not going to play point guard in every single game for the Lakers. So this isn't going to be James Harden all over again. It's not. Kobe's he's too old to play that role. He doesn't want to play point guard every single night. It's just not going to happen. So this is good. Another thing I'm thrilled about with Jeremy is he didn't turn the ball over tonight. Last time down the stretch, he had a couple mistakes against Minnesota, a turnover, and another near turnover. None tonight. So as I said, this is you have to look at the season, and you have to look at Jeremy's career as it's a continuing arc. Tonight is a snapshot in that arc. This is just one thing. It's one frame in the picture and the film. And so tonight could have ended up a lot worse than it did. Jeremy could have been pulled down the stretch as he was in the Minnesota game. The team could have lost, and then everybody's talking about Jeremy shot 3 of 11. But it didn't go like that. So you have to look at it. You have to look at it from that perspective. What could have happened in addition to what did happen. And that's it. Like I said, things ended well. Jeremy got his redemption at the end. Byron Scott got his redemption by staying with Jeremy. The team won. And probably one of the biggest wins they're going to get all year. So, I'm not going to apologize for being excited. And as I said on Twitter, I'm not saying Byron Scott's a coach of the year because he's not. But he stayed with Jeremy, which shows me that he learned something from the Minnesota game. He made the right choice, and I'm happy about that. In terms of Jeremy not being able to play point guard, look, Kobe decided that he wanted to control the action. Kobe's going to run the show. This is Kobe's deal. If he wants to play point guard, he's going to play point guard. And that's what he wanted to do tonight, and that's what he did. And there's not a lot Jeremy can do about that. And if you followed Kobe's career much, you know that this isn't the first time, and it won't be the last time, that Kobe decides he's going to do something, and there's not a lot anybody can do about it. But to be fair to Kobe, he played great. He did a really nice job distributing the ball, so good. The team won, and it worked. And that's fine. Like I said, look, if Kobe's distributing the ball, that means Jeremy's going to get more shots, which is what happened tonight. So just be prepared to get the ball, catch the pass, and hit a shot. That's fine. If Jeremy's shot was on tonight, he probably had 20 points. I don't think any Lin fan would be unhappy if Jeremy had 20 points tonight. So like I said, see it from all perspectives, not just one, not just the negative. And that's where I'm coming from. Okay, now let me go over a few things that were going on pregame. Before then, I'll get into some selected quarter by quarter. James Worthy, after the Minnesota game, said that Jeremy should be getting more minutes and that Jeremy should be handling the ball more. Good. That's good. I said this is it's a fluid situation. It's going to change game to game. And when the team loses, and when the team is really losing a bunch of games, as they have been, everything's going to come under scrutiny, including Jeremy, fairly or not. And let me just say this, Jeremy still has plenty to improve upon. He does. I know Mark Medina mentioned it to Nathan Gottlieb on Twitter that Jeremy shot clock management is a concern for the Lakers. Now, does that mean Jeremy's holding the ball too much, or does it mean that he's shooting too quickly in the shot clock? Could be a little bit of both. If I had to pick one of those two things, my guess is that they think Jeremy's holding the ball a little too much and not starting the offense quickly enough. As I've said many times, Jeremy is not a finished product. He still does have to improve. And you have to understand where Byron's coming from. Byron was brought in as the anti-Mike D'Antoni. He was going to get along with Kobe and play a system that Kobe likes. He was a Lakers legend, and he's going to clean out the disgrace or disaster of last year when the Lakers won their fewest games ever since they've been in LA. Now, you start out the season, you're 3-13, you're on pace for the worst record in franchise history. Byron's freaking out because he's in trouble. This job is basically Byron's dream coaching job. He's coached in the NBA for a number of years, but he's a Laker. He wanted to be a Laker. And if you remember the press conference when he was announced as a coach, you had Kareem there and Magic there. And now Byron's not looking very good. So before Byron goes down with the ship, so to speak, he's going to try everything. He's going to try benching Carlos Boozer. He's going to try benching Jeremy. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Now, the only thing he won't do is blame Kobe, because the thinking goes Byron was brought in partly because Kobe wanted him to be the coach. And this year and next year are basically the Kobe retirement tour. The front office has, in my opinion, they've made peace with, we're going to send Kobe out the way he wants to go out. So we're going to get him a coach he wants. We're going to play a slower style that suits him, etc. That's the one thing Byron can't really do, I think, is go against Kobe. I don't think you're going to see that much. And if you're Jeremy Lin, you just got to deal with that. That's just the situation. But if Jeremy stays as a Laker, then in a couple years, that's over. So, from my perspective, if you're Jeremy Lin, what you should do right now, number one, in my opinion, I would stay with the Lakers. Number two, just work to improve. There are plenty of things Jeremy still has to improve upon, which is great because he's already a solid player. So if he can get a lot better, his ceiling, who knows how high his ceiling is. it can be enormous. And he does need to improve. And part of this is going from the shooting guard in college to the point guard in the pros. And he is improving. He's definitely improving. But again, Byron needs to win, because right now Byron's not looking good. And if Byron doesn't win, he's not going to be around very long. So that's where Byron Scott's coming from. And I think that's kind of like the overall perspective here. I'm just looking over my notes really quickly. Yeah, and people were talking about Jeremy's defense and all this in Minnesota. Look, again, Mo Williams, who was the man JLin was guarding in the Minnesota game, late in the game. After Jeremy went out of the game, the Minnesota scored 8 points. Mo Williams accounted for 7 of those points. He himself scored 5 points, and he had 1 assist. That was for a 2-pointer. So again, the concept of taking JLin out for defense didn't work. And I give Byron credit because he corrected that tonight. He didn't do that tonight, except for 1 possession. And it worked. So, as I said, we're not, every game is its own game, but it's also connected to the larger arc. And the arc coming into tonight, fairly or not, was Jeremy was pulled for defense in the Minnesota game. And maybe Jeremy's playing too fast. And Byron Scott is talking about lineup changes. So for tonight, Jeremy won. He succeeded because the team won. And so I'm happy. As I said to Dr. Hirsch on Twitter, baby steps. Little steps here. Byron Scott learned tonight. Jeremy can get it done in the clutch, which we already knew that as fans or observers of him. But Byron has to learn that for himself. And tonight, he learned it. So, little baby steps to get Byron Scott away from the concept of pulling Jeremy late in games because of defense. Or Jeremy's going to make mistakes in the stretch and get turnovers. Well, not tonight he didn't. This is a very positive step. And that's why I'm pumped up. That's why I'm excited. Okay, let's do some selected quarter by quarter here. Early in the first, Jeremy missed a couple of shots. Now, Jeremy started out the game guarding Grievous Vasquez. Grievous was playing the shooting guard position. Kyle Lowry, of course, is the point guard. And what Byron did was he had Wes Johnson playing against Kyle Lowry. He had Jeremy playing against Grievous Vasquez. And he had Kobe guarding Terrence Ross. So it's a little bit mix and match there. So we started the game with Byron doubting Jeremy on defense because he did not let Jeremy play against Kyle Lowry. So like I said, things weren't looking so hot, but they ended up good. And to be honest with you, Wesley had a lot of trouble guarding Kyle Lowry, and so did Kobe. Jeremy did okay against Kyle Lowry. The times that he guarded him, he did decently. So again, Byron Scott and his coaching staff will see that film. And they'll know that Jeremy came through when he had to down the stretch of this game as a defender. Good. That's a positive step. Jeremy missed his first 2 shots, and he was very aggressive early, which is good. He had a short jumper, and he had a 3-point attempt, and he didn't hit either one of them, but he came out looking to be aggressive. That's what we wanted to see, particularly with all this talk going around about lineup changes and Jeremy's defense. think it was really important for him to come out and show that his confidence was intact and that he wasn't going to let any of this talk bother him. And that's what I think he did. He came out strong and ready to go. And that's it. That's what you got to do. You just got to put all that stuff in the background and just come out and play your game. And that's what he did, including when you miss shots. No matter how good of a shooter you are, everybody's going to have a night where they just can't hit a shot. And tonight was Jeremy's night for that. But don't stop shooting. Don't stop shooting. You have to continue to shoot and shoot your way through it. And you have to be confident and take the next open shot. And that's what he did. So that I'm very happy to see that. I was eager to see how he was going to respond to all this talk going around, and he responded great. Okay, then heading to middle of the first, Jeremy missed his next shot, so he was started out 0 of 3 from the game for the game. Then he hit his first shot of the game. Kobe passed him the ball, and he hit a three-pointer from about 85 degrees left of the top of the arc. So he was just about in the left corner. And it was a nice shot. Again, confident shot. He wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, I missed my first 3 shots. I better not shoot anymore. Nope. You get the ball, you're open, you shoot. And that's what he did. Then the announcer said that Jeremy was not on the court late in the last game. So they're rehashing the Minnesota stuff and what does it mean and all this stuff. So, that's in the air. That's something that has to be dealt with. They also said that Kobe is playing the facilitator role right now. Kobe is playing the point guard role. He was, and he did it well. And I'm sure that in Kobe's mind, he was thinking, well, we heard the interviews after the last game, which was we had boneheaded plays and we played too fast. Well, was some of that about Jeremy? Yes, I think it was. And so I think Kobe had it in his head tonight that he was going to come out and run the offense the right way in his thinking. And look, he did it well. And is it perfectly fair to Jeremy? Probably not. But it doesn't matter because the team won. And so Jeremy can learn from this. And again, I will assure you, Kobe does not want to play point guard every game. He's too old to do that. He doesn't want to do it. And it's not his natural tendency. So it's not going to happen. It's more like, okay, look, this is the way to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. So do it like this. Fine. That's it. I mean, it's because things ended up well tonight. Whatever. I'm cool with it. Jeremy can look at the film, study it, learn from it, and we move on. I put Kobe's running the point guard, which he was. Jeremy went up for a shot late in the first. He went up for a layup, and he got hit pretty good. And he wanted a foul, and he didn't get it. So now he was 1 of 5 shooting for the game. Jeremy came out of the game with, I don't remember exactly how much time left. At the time, the Lakers were up 21-18. Excuse me. And Stu Lance, the analyst, said, in order to fix the Lakers' offense, maybe Kobe should play more of a facilitator role. Now, I don't know if that was taking a shot at Jeremy for his running the offense, or if it was more of a, maybe Kobe should shoot a little bit less and pass the ball a little bit more. But whatever it was, for this game, it worked. And if this happens every single game, then that's a different thing. But tonight it worked. And if Kobe wanted to give Jeremy an example of how to do it, well, fine. That's okay. That's all right. Because the team won and Jeremy did what he needed to do late in the game. Okay, heading into the second quarter, Jeremy started the quarter on the bench. Then Let's see here. Just going over the notes quickly. Jeremy came back into the game along with Kobe with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. At that point, the Lakers were up 9 points, 42-33. Jeremy had a number of blown assists tonight, quite a few, actually. And so that hurt his assist total. Like he ended up with 3 assists, and it could have been easily 6 or 7 assists. But it happens. That's fine. That's the way it goes. And then one of them, he gave the ball to Carlos Boozer right at the rim. I mean, it was just a perfect pass. And Carlos just kind of fumbled it, and it went out of bounds. So that was just that kind of a night in terms of Jeremy not getting more assists. And Jeremy had a nice defensive play against Kyle Lowry. He got up and challenged him on a 3-point attempt, which Kyle missed. Then, let's see, yeah. I did make a note late in the second here. It says, Kobe not letting Jeremy make plays. Again, Kobe was playing the point guard, and he was dishing to other people rather than letting Jeremy do it. Yes, it is like James Harden, but again, Kobe's smarter than James Harden, and Kobe's a lot older than James Harden. So he's not going to be around doing this forever. And as I mentioned, he doesn't like to play this way. This is not his normal style. He can do it, but he doesn't want to do it. So if Jeremy plays in a way that is acceptable to the coaching staff, maybe play a little slower, down the stretch, easy with the turnovers, manage the shot clock a little bit better, then Kobe's not going to play point guard. So it will continue to improve, and Jeremy can just continue to adapt to it, and I think it'll be just fine. This isn't Houston all over again, thank goodness, where they don't want the ball in Jeremy's hands. They want the ball in Harden's hands over and over again. Okay. Then Jeremy, late in the second, had his first assist of the game, passed the ball to Jordan Hill for a made jump shot. Then he missed another shot. Then I put that Kobe's not giving the ball to Jeremy. So, yes, believe me, I saw everything that every other JLin fan saw in this game. We went into halftime, Lakers up 7 points, 56-49 at the break. And then we came into the third quarter, which has been a difficult quarter for the Lakers this season. It certainly was against Minnesota, and it would be again tonight. Okay. Then Stu Lance said Kobe was playing the point guard, and that's why the Lakers did well. Well, tonight, that's true. Like I said, I don't. And he said that when Kobe plays point or he distributes the ball more, than everybody on the team is more alert. And again, I don't think that was as much of a diss against Jeremy as it was more like maybe Kobe should shoot a little bit less. I think it was something about that as well. Then Kobe got I think he got the assist that put him at 6,000 career assists, which is a great accomplishment. Jeremy had another blown assist to Wesley Johnson for an air ball shot. So again, that was the kind of night that it was for Jeremy. Then I noticed that Kobe was posting up. He was now out of the mode of looking to pass. He had gone into the mode now of becoming a scorer. So the concept from him seemed clear. He wanted to come out, run the offense as a point guard for the first half, distribute the ball, get everybody involved, maybe set an example for Jeremy, and now he was going to go back more to his normal mode, which is a scorer. And so, like I said, he's not going to play like that all the time. He doesn't want to, and he won't. Okay, then Jeremy had another missed shot. He was blocked at the rim by Jonas Valanciunas. This is a play where Jeremy should have used a floater. You have to understand the personnel. Jonas he's not a great shot blocker, but he's a good shot blocker. He's tall, he's big, he jumps straight up, and he won't get fouls called on him. So that was a situation where Jeremy is going to want to use the floater in the future. And he will. He'll do that more and more as he gets more comfortable shooting that shot. Then I put Jeremy started the quarter well. He started the third quarter looking to pass. So he knew his shot wasn't on early. So he adjusted to that. And he's like, okay, I'm going to distribute the ball more. And so I give him credit for adjusting that then. Then Jeremy missed an open three-point shot that Kobe passed him the ball. So, like I said, he was having a tough night. There's no question about it, which makes it even more impressive that he came around late in the game and got it done when he needed to. Then Stu Lance in the middle of the third said that the Lakers must run their offense through Kobe. So, again, that's where he was coming from. Then Jeremy made a really nice play middle of the third. He stole the ball from Jonas Valanciunas. So Jeremy went to do help defense. He doubled down against the big man. He stripped Jonas of the ball cleanly. It was great. Unfortunately, he then passed the ball to Wesley Johnson, who shot an air ball from three-point range. So it's like I said, it was that kind of night for Jeremy in terms of not getting assists, but it happens. Then Jeremy, right after that play, Toronto came down and they made a mistake. They turned the ball over. Someone had passed the ball up to Jeremy, and then Jeremy passed the ball into Carlos for a little easy layup. So the pace was picking up here, and Jeremy was doing well with that, which he can do. So that was really nice to see. Then Kobe passed the ball back out to Jeremy, and Jeremy hit a long two-point shot. He was trying to shoot a three-pointer, but he put his foot on the line. So it ended up being a two-pointer instead. But he was clearly picking up his game at this point. It was not as great in the first half. Now here he's making assists. He's getting steals. He's hitting shots. So he really came on in the second half of this game, and that's good to hear. Then Stu Lance, who I like. I like Stu. Stu Lance, Lou Williams hit a three-pointer over JLin. And Stu Lance then said, Jeremy, you got to make him put the ball on the ground. In other words, you make him dribble because he's a really good shooter. And that's true. That's fair. Unfortunately, Lou Williams hit a bunch more shots later in the game, and I don't think I heard Stu Lance say one time that somebody else should have made Lou Williams put the ball on the floor. So, look, we notice these things. Any Lin fan that watched him in Houston, we know this obviously with Clyde Drexler over and over again. I think Stu likes Jeremy. I don't think he's a Lin hater in the way that Clyde Drexler seemed to be. But this was a little instance where it was like, come on, man. You got to say this about everybody else. Then I noticed, this is still middle of the third, Jeremy was talking to the referee because the referee had called a foul on him against Lou Williams. And so it was like Jeremy, Byron Scott, and the referee were all standing like in a triangle. And Jeremy was trying to explain to him, hey, look, I did this, or let me do this, or whatever. So that was good. It's good. Jeremy's sticking up for himself with the referees, and he needs to do that because, as we know, he doesn't get a ton of calls on offense or defense. So hopefully he can get to know these referees better and better and kind of maybe get some more favorable calls. Okay, moving on to late in the third. Jeremy he took a really long three-pointer from like almost straight on of the top of the arc. It was maybe 4 or 5 feet behind the line. So, I don't know, like 28, 29, 30-foot shot. I think that the shot clock was low, and so he just kind of needed to take it, and that's what he did, but he missed it. Okay, then we go to the end of the third quarter. At that point, the Lakers were up 81-80. So their lead at the half had evaporated down to a single point. Then coming into the fourth quarter, Jeremy began the fourth quarter on the bench. He's getting rest, I believe, along with Kobe. And this is when the bench really came through, because the bench has given up leads before and kind of not been able to stay in the game, but they really dug in tonight and they got it done. So that was terrific. They hung around. Toronto did get the lead and they went ahead, but then they kept fighting back, did the bench. And so we went to 5 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game. Jeremy and Kobe came back into the game, I believe. Actually, no. Jeremy came in for Ronnie. Kobe was already back in the game, I believe. Then you could see that Jeremy was talking to Byron Scott on the sideline, so getting instructions. The announcer then said shortly thereafter, who will the Lakers have on the floor at the end of the game? Will it be JLin? Will it be Wayne Ellington? Blah, blah, blah. So again, we're going with that storyline here. And again, this is why I'm happy that they won. And Kobe made a nice shot there. Then Jeremy was playing defense against Kyle Lowry heading in late into the fourth here now. Kobe missed 4 free throws in the fourth quarter and overtime. Fortunately, they did not cost the team the game, but he's just struggling with his free throws. My guess is that it has something to do with his shot mechanics after the Achilles tendon surgery. Probably change things a little bit more. Maybe it's a little harder for him to bend his legs to get enough the proper form, or the form that he's used to shooting. But hopefully that will improve a little bit as he continues to come back from that injury and surgery. Okay, then let's see. Kobe and Jeremy were talking on the floor after timeout, so they're strategizing there. And one thing again, and I put Byron learned from the mistake. Late in the game, very late, he took Carlos out of the game and replaced him with Wesley Johnson. So that's substituting for defense, but he kept Jeremy in the game. So at that point, he had not put Ronnie in for Jeremy. So he's giving Jeremy the benefit of the doubt there, and that's good. Now, with 35 seconds left in the game, and I think that the Lakers were up 1 point then. Or no, they were up. It was 109-109, I believe. Then, or right before that, maybe it was 109-108 Toronto. Then Byron did put in Ronnie for Jeremy, and he put in Wesley Johnson for Carlos Boozer. So this was the only time after Jeremy entered the game in the fourth quarter and in the overtime that he was not on the floor. And I think it was one Toronto offensive possession. So Toronto got the ball. Ronnie actually made a nice play because Kyle Lowry got an offensive foul against Ronnie. He hooked him. He put his arm around him to clear out space, which you are not allowed to do. And so that took us from 35 seconds left to 13 seconds left. And after that, Jeremy came back into the game. And so that 22 seconds was the only time of the last 10 minutes and 28 seconds of fourth quarter and overtime that Jeremy didn't play. So like I said, look, Byron learned. He learned. And so heading into the overtime, Jeremy had just 5 points. But that was going to change as we did go into the overtime. Early in the overtime, Jeremy was fouled by Kyle Lowry, just dribbling the ball, but it wasn't for shots. It was just to take the ball out of bounds. Then, with the score tied up 110 apiece, Jeremy passed the ball on, I think it was on a fast break, to Wesley Johnson for a three-pointer. The ball hit the front of the rim, bounced up to the backboard, and went through the basket. So that was great. It was a very fortunate bounce, but Jeremy made the play happen, and now he was going to start to really pick up his game. And so, again, when he did this, the score was all tied up. And so they needed him, and he came through. Byron had him out there, and now Jeremy was going to start going into the Mr. Clutch mode. After that, the Lakers were up 113 to 110. Then Kobe made a jump shot, and he was fouled, which was a really nice play. He made the free throw. Then Jeremy got the ball in transition. Jordan Hill blocked Kyle Lowry at the rim. Ball came out to Jeremy. Jeremy ran, just raced up the court full speed, went up for a layup, and it was goaltended. It was hit the ball when it was going down towards the basket, which you're not allowed to do. That scored the basket. That was Jeremy's first 2 points of the overtime. Then Jeremy had, I think he scared Lou Williams. Jeremy was playing against Lou Williams on defense. Lou got by him, but then Lou blew the layup at the rim. We've seen this before with people that Jeremy will play against. They're afraid of Jeremy blocking them from behind, and so they'll blow layups that they almost always would make. Lou was concerned his shot was going to get blocked, and that made him miss. So even though he got by Jeremy, he didn't make the shot. So that's really good to see. Then Jeremy was fouled, hit 2 clutch free throws, and they were talking about how, hey, these are really important. He's got to make them. He's got to make them. And he made them both. Then he was fouled again, and he missed both. He made both free throws, and the announcer was saying, oh, he missed free throws against Denver. He's got to make them now. Well, he did that, which was really nice. So that was it. The Lakers coasted in for the win, and Jeremy had a foul on Kyle Lowry late, it wasn't a smart play. He shouldn't have fouled him, just let him go and get a layup, but obviously that didn't decide anything. So the Lakers go on to the victory, 129 to 122. Look, as I said, is this a perfect script that I would write for Jeremy Lin? No, but the team won. He bounced back from a tough start in the game. He came through in the clutch, and Byron Scott made the decision to stay with him, and it paid off. So what could have been a really bad night turned into a good night. And I'll take it. I'll take it. He performed well when he needed to. He had no turnovers. And if Byron Scott or Kobe or both of them think, okay, well, this is the way we want to run the offense, well, now they've got the video. You can sit down with Jeremy and say, okay, the way that Kobe played in the first half, that's the way we want you to play. Well, now you can show him. So it worked out fine. Jeremy played the second most minutes of any Laker tonight, 35 minutes. The only person who played more was Kobe with 42. So tough night. I would consider this to be not a great game for Jeremy in terms of overall performance. So, yes, it's the third time in the last 13 games he didn't play great. The team won. He came through in the clutch, and Byron Scott stayed with him late, and it worked. And Jeremy rewarded Byron for doing that. So, all things considered, I'm happy. Because it could have gone much worse than this. Things could have gone a lot worse than this. And when they did not start Jeremy playing defense against Kyle Lowry at the beginning of the game, it looked like it might go worse. But it didn't. Jeremy was able to turn things around and come through when he needed to. So I'm very pleased. This was a huge victory. Enormous victory, And on a team like the Lakers are now, where they probably aren't really going to contend for a playoff spot or anything, a victory like this goes a long way. You can have a couple losses, and this victory will satisfy people for another couple of losses. This gives Jeremy more time. This gives Byron more time to stay with Jeremy. So I will take it. I will take it. Okay, that is it. The next game for the Lakers will take place 2 days from now. And it will be against, I believe, the Detroit Pistons. Yes, the Detroit Pistons in Detroit. The Lakers are now going to begin a three-game road trip. And it will take place on Tuesday, December 2nd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States, which means that the game will take place 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd in China, Taiwan, and in the Philippines. Detroit is not a good team. They have some talent on their team, but they're not doing well this year. They're 3-14, so their record is even worse than the Lakers is. Who's going to be favored in that game? I don't know. I would imagine Detroit will be favored because they're playing in Detroit. But the point is that's a winnable game for the Lakers. And looking at the schedule right now, 2 of the 3 games that they're going to play on this road trip are winnable. One is against Detroit, and another one is against Boston. They're not a terrible team, but they're also not performing that well. So if what the Lakers need to do is work like crazy to get that win in Detroit. Come out and play the way you played tonight. This was the best and most focused effort I think that the Lakers have shown this season. And they've played some solid games this season. They really have, but this was the best. Having Nick Young back, having Wayne Ellington back really helps. There is more shooting. There is more perimeter shooting. That helps the spacing. Guys were focused. They were motivated. And they got it done. So hopefully that's going to continue into Tuesday. I want to see that, and I'll be very eager to look at how the team performs in that contest. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. Eager to hear what all you guys have to say. We thank Gary Chen for the artwork you're looking at right now. Gary is a blogger and artist in Taiwan, and he is a member of the Jeremy Only Lin Garden fan club. And we're thankful that he allowed us to use this artwork. You'll find more information for Gary, and where you can see him on Facebook, in the video description below the video player. You'll also find information for video highlights of this game, as well as information about how you can come and join the Conservative Media Facebook group, and how you can come and follow us on Twitter and talk about the NBA and many other things. Once again, I am Paul F. Villarreal. My voice is going a little hoarse here. I think I'm a little too dried out. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We do strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Just to restate, I'm perfectly fine with how things worked out tonight. We got the victory. Jeremy got to play a good number of minutes. He got to play down the stretch, and he came through. And so we've turned the tide back on this narrative that we need lineup changes and maybe Jeremy can't do this and da-da-da-da. So it worked out for the best. It worked out okay tonight. Even if you don't think Byron's a great coach, even if you think Kobe was dominating the ball and not letting Jeremy play point guard, it worked out well. Jeremy was great in the overtime, and he had 0 turnovers. He had a tough shooting night. That's going to happen. That isn't anything. He played solid defense many times tonight. It wasn't perfect, Gravis Vasquez was getting some good things done against Jeremy early in this game, but Jeremy was trying hard on defense. He was focused. He made some good plays. I'll take it. Overall, I'll take it. This is an extremely impressive win for the team. Hopefully, it can carry them into Detroit, and they'll be ready to win again. So that is it. Woo! I'm pumped. I would encourage other people to be excited, too, that are Lin fans. Let's just move on to the next game. Jeremy and the team will have more confidence now. We don't have to talk about a loss or losing to the awful Timberwolves. So now you can feel good about yourself. Get ready, get on the plane, go to Detroit, try to win. Let's just go from there. And start off with a blank slate in that game. Go out and maybe Jeremy can have another big game the same way that he did against Minnesota. That's it. As I said, that's all it is. We'll just take the story arc from here and let's begin a new chapter against Detroit on Tuesday. Okay, it is 2:37 a.m. here on Monday, December 1st, 2014, which means it is 3:37 p.m. currently in Taipei, Taiwan on December 1st, 2014. I hope everybody has and is having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care, and we will talk to you again soon.